Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest directors of his generation. His films have grossed over $6 billion worldwide. But does that make him the most bankable director working today? A lot of directors today have been more vocal of their fears and desires concerning the world of cinema and attracting audiences to the theater. But Christopher Nolan doesn't seem to have the same problem when it comes to getting people in the theater to see his films, which begs the question, is he the most bankable director today? And if so, why? In today's video, we will look at possible reasons why Christopher Nolan continues to be a force at the box office. Whether it's a biopic or a sci-fi epic, his films attract an audience. But before we go on, don't forget to like and subscribe. Christopher Nolan is one of the most acclaimed and commercially successful directors of his generation. He is known for his intellectual storytelling and blockbuster spectacle. He rose to fame with his debut film Memento, a mind-bending indie thriller that received praise for its non-linear storytelling and its writing. He reshaped superhero cinema with the Dark Knight Trilogy, proving that comic book films could be both critically revered and widely profitable. And he further cemented his status with original high-concept hits like Inception and Interstellar, combining complex narratives with breathtaking visuals. His recent films Dunkirk and Oppenheimer showcase his versatility, earning him critical acclaim and award recognition. Christopher Nolan's reputation rests on his ability to deliver intelligent yet accessible cinema, his advocacy for theatrical experiences, and his reliance on practical effects over CGI. Christopher Nolan is such a staunch advocate for practical effects that there have been many memes made about it. He consistently attracts top-tier talent while maintaining creative control. And even though directors like James Cameron have had higher grosses, Nolan's consistency, originality, and cultural impact make him a unique force in modern filmmaking. Whether he's the most bankable director today is debatable, but few can match his blend of artistry, box office success, and audience trust. In Hollywood, being bankable means to have consistent box office success, to be able to secure big budgets, top-tier talent want to work with you, and audiences trust your name. Christopher Nolan checks all the boxes and then some, but we are going to focus on box office success because even though there are other competitors in the field, Nolan seems to be doing it better than others. There are certain caveats to the competition. For example, the Russo Brothers are system directors. They work only with Marvel. Their movies outside of Marvel have been, well, ass. James Cameron only makes Avatar films as of late, and even though he is still a high-level director, I can't really call him bankable. Scratch that. He is bankable with an asterisk because he is completely immersed in the world of Avatar. He needs to step out for a minute. Scorsese, Fincher, Tarantino, and others are top-tier filmmakers, but it seems they are not able to attract a sizable audience, at least not to the degree of Christopher Nolan. When was the last time you saw an outright Christopher Nolan flop? The man has an impressive track record of great movies that draw people to the theaters. Memento, The Prestige, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Oppenheimer. I didn't include Tenet because it was released during COVID and Warner Brothers did not do the movie any favors with its release. The Dark Knight Trilogy is part of a franchise, but you know what? The Dark Knight Trilogy. His films have relatively low budgets and have a high return on investment, making him one of the most profitable directors of his generation. I look at a film like Oppenheimer, and this film about the father of the atomic bomb was a 3-hour drama filled with a lot of dialogue and exposition. The film was both a critical and commercial success, nearly grossing $1 billion. You can make a case that the film was boosted by the marketing campaign for the Barbie movie, because both films released on the same day, sparking an internet trend called Barbenheimer. But I honestly don't think any other director could garner interest in Oppenheimer the way Christopher Nolan did. And if the Barbie movie did not exist, I firmly believe that film would do at least $700 million. So why Christopher Nolan? Christopher Nolan makes high-concept blockbusters that don't rely on franchises. Yes, he has tackled Batman, but that was a decade ago. And his latest film nearly grossed $1 billion, and it was based on history, a biopic for that matter. In a time of remakes, reboots, sequels, and revivals, Christopher Nolan seems like a breath of fresh air because he brings something new to the table whenever he makes a movie. Other directors do the same thing obviously, but they don't pull in the audience like Christopher Nolan. The audience has more faith in Christopher Nolan than than most? Could it be because of his incredible work with Batman that spilled over to other films in his career? Could it be because of the subject matter of his films? Who knows? But something about Christopher Nolan resonates with the audience. It could be his consistency. Christopher Nolan has a very impressive record as a filmmaker. His ability to take high-level concepts and complex storytelling and make it accessible to the general audience is second to none. His attention to detail, from his cinematography to writing to bringing out the best in the actors, is a testament to his skill as a filmmaker. His filmmaking style has earned him a lot of praise from his peers and the industry at large. Denis Villeneuve said about his work, "To bring intellectual concepts and to bring them in that scope to the screen right now is very rare. Every movie that he comes out with, I have more admiration for his work." Kenneth Branagh said, "Regardless of how popular his films become, he remains an artist and an auteur. I think for that reason he has become a heroic figure for both the audience and the people working behind the camera." Christopher Nolan is an avid champion of the theatrical experience. His filmmaking choices are designed to maximize the theatrical experience. You can't see a Nolan movie on the big screen and not be taken aback by the impressive nature of his filmmaking. Dwayne Johnson expressed these sentiments when he saw Oppenheimer on the big screen. "I watched Oppenheimer, it was amazing, but I was thinking, holy shit, Red One on this screen and with this technology could be game over." Dwayne Johnson's delusion aside, Christopher Nolan's advocacy for the big screen is what caused his separation from Warner Brothers. The COVID pandemic caused Warner Brothers to release the entire film slate for the year in theaters and on streaming on the same day, which caused an uproar in the film industry, causing Nolan and the studio to part ways. People go to see Nolan's films because he employs actors that the general public want to see. His films are filled with A-list actors, and sometimes they don't even have major roles in the film. He ensures that his ensemble is filled with actors that are not just great actors, but they can attract an audience. He's one of the rare directors that has critical and commercial success. Christopher Nolan is also an advocate for practicality over CGI. There was a scene in Tenet where they crashed a 747 plane. Yes, that's a real plane that he purchased just to crash it. In the movie Interstellar, he planted 500 acres of corn for this scene. There are other scenarios where, to avoid CGI, he makes use of camera tricks, projections and special sets to ground his films in a more realistic sense. He said this about CGI in his interview with the DGA. "However sophisticated your computer-generated imagery is, if it's been created from no physical elements and you haven't shot anything, it's going to feel like animation." It's debatable to say he is the most bankable director in the game today, but I honestly don't see any other person that could be a true rival. The only other person I can say is James Cameron, because his name also drives an audience. But personally, he needs to step out of the shadow of Avatar for him to prove he can do it consistently. The Russo brothers need Marvel. Ridley Scott is hit or miss. Denis Villeneuve could be a challenger for the title in the future, as he too is an exceptional filmmaker, but I have to give it to Christopher Nolan, not only because of his acumen as a filmmaker, but the fact that he did it with many original films. The fact that he doesn't have to rely on franchises to be a box office success is a testament to his skill and his appeal. So is Christopher Nolan the most bankable director today? Yes. Very few directors are able to attract eyes to a movie off their name alone like Christopher Nolan does. When he left Warner Brothers, at least 4 different studios were in contention to distribute his films, with the heads of 3 of them personally going to his house to negotiate. Not many directors could do what Nolan did because of his name and reputation and his ability to attract an audience. With his consistency, originality, filmmaking process, and the success of his latest film, I don't see how you can give the title to anyone else. And if there's any franchise that is screaming for Christopher Nolan, it's James Bond. That's just me campaigning to see a Christopher Nolan James Bond movie. Could you imagine? Thanks for watching. Do you think Christopher Nolan is the most bankable director, or is someone else more deserving? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.